Okay guys, I'm going to be doing a Barrows guide for Ironmen, specifically because it's not very difficult as a main account, but it may help you. So I'm in my house starting off before I get my whole inventory set up, because I was doing Barrows anyway. You need to have an altar in your house. It's extremely helpful, and you won't be able to do the method that I'm showing you if you don't have an altar or a Carol's teleport in your house. Now those requirements would have to be, I think, 40 construction, perhaps 45, and also desert treasure completed, and level 50 construction for a portal room. So take that in consideration. If you don't have those requirements yet, go ahead and do that because it's so helpful for Barrows. Another thing I recommend, but you absolutely do not have to do, you can still just have the portal and altar in your house, and it does not have to be a gilded altar, by the way, it's just to recharge your prayer, is the Mortania Hard Diaries completed, which is right here. This will just get you 50% more runes at Barrows, which is amazing. That's where all these death runes have come from. I'm almost at 100k mine runes in my bank, and you get a lot of chaos and blood, and it's just really nice for later on for Ironman and completely worth it. Another thing, if you're an Ironman, I highly recommend, if you don't have the Trident yet, you need to use Ivan's Blast. It's the most efficient way for an Ironman to do Barrows is to use an Ivan staff. And to be able to use an Ivan staff, you're going to have to complete Underground Pass. And I know Desert Treasure and Underground Pass are difficult quests and are challenging, but they are worth it in the end, and completing anything or any quest on an Ironman is so helpful. Now, this is the setup I do, and I will discuss why. I wanted to have positive magic bonus with good defense, and also sufficient prayer bonus. It's not that I don't have a glory and such, it's just that I prefer having that prayer bonus, because if you take this amulet off, I have +3 versus +11, and you use prayer at Barrows. I also have an empty Tome of Fire. You can use a filled one, but Ivan's Blast is not affected by the Tome of Fire ability. It would just use the burnt pages, which is useless. But I have an empty Tome of Fire because if you notice, my magic attack bonus goes up significantly with the Tome of Fire. I think it's +8. I mean, it's a fantastic book, and that's with or without charges, but I don't recommend the charges. Infinity boots are great, wizard boots, and if you don't have any of those, go ahead and wear your climbing boots or your mystic boots. Mystic boots, highly recommend. You can buy them in the Magic Guild. Now, I know if you're starting off Ironman as an Ironman, you probably don't have any Barrows gear yet. Start out with Mystic, a Mystic top, and perhaps Rune Plate legs, Dragon Plate legs, and maybe a Mystic hat, or a proselyte helmet. Really, Barrows is touch and go. It depends on what you want to bring and use. It's optional. This is my preference, is I like having a magic bonus, prayer bonus with a decent defense. You want to have good defense going into Barrows because in the tomes down below, you will get hit very hard. If you do not have probably over 180 or 190 defense, 200 plus is recommended. Keeping the magic bonus, really think that's a good idea. You're also going to want to bring Barrows gloves if you have them, and a God cape. A God cape is really easy to get. You just have to have a specific magic level to get it. And it's got in I think the mage arena in the wilderness. Next, you want your Ivan staff upgraded to 2,500 charges. I've been using it, so it's only at 1,460, but you kind of get the picture. If you have the Hard Diaries on, you can use Mortania legs, but I'm not going to use it in this video. House tabs are great, but if you don't want to bring house tabs, just bring house tab runes. Whatever works for you. Okay, now what we're going to do to get to Barrows my routes, I use the Shades of Morton teleport. You have to unlock the Shades of Morton teleport, and therefore you have to do Priest in Peril, and I believe that's the only quest you have to do is Priest in Peril, if not the Shades of Morton quest. I think you just have to come and unlock this area or do the quest. You probably have to do the mini game at least one time to do the Shades of Morton teleport. It's a very easy quest. You just go on a Shades of Morton world and do the quest, and therefore you'll unlock that teleport. Much easier than getting all of the hard diaries done. Now, the way I'm doing this is my route, how I do Barrows. You don't have to do it this way. It does not matter. And in fact, a lot of people, oh, look at this handsome man. Oh, it's my friend Mez. He wanted to be in the video. So we'll say hi to Mez real fast. Hello, Mez. With his achievement diary cape. Show off. And what the fuck? That's interesting. Okay, so good to see him. So we're going to do Derek first. So let's go ahead and get your spell working. I always like to do him first because you always should pray Derek because he can hit you like a motherfucker. And especially at low hit points, you never want to play the lottery with Derek. And I'm going to be doing a whole Barrows run here. I usually continue doing runs until this mini game teleport is back to 0 and I can use it again. So I'll just pretty much run out of the tunnels and remember where the ladder was. I recommend that, but you don't have to do that. I just like using the teleport. And to next, hello, Mez. Love his main account. And then here at Arams, I range. I do a switch. Go down here, pray mage. Okay, Arams is my tunnel, but you saw the switch I made there. Very slight. I had to switch from an Arams top because Arams top, the accumulator does not work. Now we're going to do Carol. I maged Carol. People are going to bitch about this. They're going to say, why don't you melee Carol? Because I don't want to bring a shit ton of switches. Okay, I just don't want to do that. And honestly, the Ivan's Blast hits hard on Carol. Pretty damn hard, actually. As you can see, not as hard as Torag Guthan's Derek, but it hits hard. Significant and enough. It's not worth the switch to me. You may use slightly more prayer, but that's why we're bringing the holy symbol, you know, to make up for that. And we're going to continue. After Carol, it doesn't really matter where I go to. I can do Torags or Guthans or Varric. It doesn't really matter. So here we go. I just picked Guthans because why not? You don't have to pray against Guthans, especially if you have a high defense. But I don't really care about using prayer. It doesn't bother me. I get all of my Raynar weeds from Miscellanea. And Miscellanea gives a lot. I also can farm them. So I don't have an issue with prayer pots. If you have an issue with prayer pots and you have not started Miscellanea, which I highly recommend doing as an Ironman, you can tank Guthans, Varric, and Torags. I don't like doing it that way personally, but if you like that better, go, do it. If you want to save the prayer pots and you don't mind using food, do it. Now, I usually get about 2 runs in before this timer goes back to 0, and then I go refresh my prayer at my house and just restart. That kind of saves me some prayer potions. I could do more than 2 rounds. Probably could do about 4, sometimes 5. I'll probably just tank Torag on this one. We'll see. But, that's just, see, if you don't tank, he does hit hard. They all do slightly. I only wear high defense gear, really, like the Varric's helm and the DH plate legs, because it really helps a lot in the tomes. They level 70 monsters, and they can hit you, and it adds up, and you end up using more food than you want. Varric is inevitable. He's going to hit through prayer. So pay attention when you're killing Varric. Even if you have prayer up, he will hit through it. So he doesn't really matter. Some people don't even use prayer on him, but it does decrease his damage. He'll hit through prayer, but he'll hit less than what he would have hit if you didn't have prayer up. I don't know if that's true, but take that with a grain of salt. So now we're going in the tomes, and I have Arams, which is not a really good one to have, but here we go. I did my switch. I'm only doing range. Now, Arams or whatever brother you have can pop up in the tome randomly at any time. Also, you want to get your rewards potential to 100%. That will get you the most runes. It doesn't really matter for Barrows pieces, but it matters for your runes. And honestly, with the diaries done, I get a lot. Hopefully you will see that. Remember where your ladder is because you're going to be doing another run. So my goal is to find the door to the inner chest. The black dark doors you can't get through. You can only get through these lighter doors. Now to get to the center of the chest room, here's my door because it's lighter than these darker doors, as you can see. You can only examine those. You're going to have a puzzle piece. Now, see, you're going to have little things on you like this. You can kill them, but if you know the puzzles quick enough, there's only 3 puzzles. If you know the answer quick enough, you can ignore whatever's attacking you and just click fast enough. So I know the 3 puzzles by heart. That's a square, and it'll let you in. You may have to look those up on Google. Now, if you don't mess up that puzzle, your brother, when you open up this chest, will spawn. Okay, if you mess up that puzzle, it's just random. But here we go. We know Aram's is going to spawn. Okay, open the chest, and there he is. Now, my range is kind of weak in Barrows. That's why I hate Aram's. I have almost 90 range, and I still kind of hit weak with broad bolts. This is just not the gear you want. But I only range 1 brother, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, I do hit kind of weak on him because I don't bring the correct range setup. I just do pretty much a 3 switch. And I'm just going to take that last hit. Okay, so let's check the chest. I got 114. So that wasn't that great of a chest. That was actually really shit. I'm going to show you how to run out now. So I know I came this direction. We're going to run to my ladder. And after I get to the ladder and do the you know I'm going to do a second round. I have 12 more minutes on the clock. Oops. Sometimes you'll have to go around the long way because some doors will be locked. Don't be scared of the crumbling tome. It will hit anywhere from 2 to 4 damage. I also bring a super energy for this case because sometimes you run out of energy in the tomes and when you're running back out. So I just replenish that at the bank when I tally out next run. So I go up my ladder. See, these guys do hit pretty hard. Go up again, and your run is completed, and you can start another run. So even at a low level, you should be able to do 2 Barrows runs before you use your mini teleport again, at least. I mean, I'm still full supplies. I could not use the teleport and probably do 4, 5, 6 runs. So Barrows takes practice, and a lot of it is just practice. Your first time you're going to be wishy-washy, and your rotation and how you do Barrows and your gear is all preference. I kind of gave you the stats that I like to work off of, and when I switch to my range switch, it is plus 127 range attack bonus. It's low, but it will do. So that's what I like to bring. Let me know what you think about this setup. As an Ironman, it is difficult. You can buy Mystic in the Magic Guild just to help you out there a little bit. And you're going to be wearing Rune for a while. So just know that that will be your tanking gear before you get Barrows gear. Thank you so much for watching, guys.